And welcome everyone to the Spinal Screening webinar tonight. Guys, I just want to make a special thank you to Dr. Brian Capra and Genesis Chiropractic Software for sponsoring this webinar. They're the reason we're doing this webinar tonight. And, you know, I jam-packed this presentation full of value. You know, I respect your time. I did this presentation at the GPS Summit in Austin where chiropractors were there. They paid upwards of $500 to be there and to hear this presentation. And I want this to be just literally the most comprehensive spinal screening training that's ever been given in our profession. That's why I put, you know, almost everything I do. I don't have time you don't have time to sit here and listen to me speak for hours on everything that I do, but this is about a 45-minute presentation jam-packed full of value, and I hope that every one of you on here gets something great tonight that helps you help more people, because that is honestly, that is what it's about. And, you know, I'm going to show you how to get more new patients. Don't worry. You know, we're going to grow you. I'm going to show you how I did it. I grew my practice through dinner workshops and spinal screenings. And you're going to get more new patients and make more money with this info. But here's what it's all about. You know, it's about helping people. I mean, and I think every one of us on the line understand that. We're business people. We have a business mind, but we have a heart to help people. You wouldn't be a chiropractor. You have a purpose. You have a calling. And so I just hope the information that I can give you tonight will help you to do that and to help you to touch more lives. And so, you know, nothing that I tell you here is magic. It's not going to make new patients just line up at your front door. You got to put in the work, okay? But first you got to know how to do it. But then after we teach you how, you got to put in the work. And a lot of chiropractors have just completely stopped doing spinal screenings altogether. And so, you know what, I say that is great. I mean, for me and you, for those of you on this line right now, we have an opportunity like never before, because chiropractors have literally stopped doing spinal screenings. And even if all the chiropractors out there were doing spinal screenings, that would be great. We would grow the profession faster than anything else. So even if they all were doing spinal screenings, we should still be doing it, because we're chiropractors. That's what we do, is we check spines. And if there's a problem, then we recommend care, or we recommend at least an exam in our office, right? But I always start with that. It's about more than making money. It's about touching people. But so let's jump right in to how to set up good spinal screenings. You know, I get a lot of questions in a lot of different areas, but one of them is, how should I set up my booth? Okay, so this is the most important thing. No matter what you have in your booth, no matter how you set up, number one, most important thing is keep the front open. So many times I see these chiropractors who are set up like medical doctors, where the front table is at the very front of their booth area. Excuse me, they're sitting behind their table with all their business cards laid out in the front. Well, you know, especially if you're doing spinal screenings, like I do a lot of spinal screenings at big events like home shows or health fairs or bridal shows or boat shows, right? And I have to pay. Sometimes I have to invest, I should say, like $1,000 to have a booth there. Sometimes I paid up to $2,000 to have a booth at a bridal show, and it's worth it every single time. We make tenfold on our investment. But here's the thing: I didn't pay $2,000 to hand out my business card, and so I'm not going to put a table in the front there that blocks everybody from getting into my booth that has business cards on it. I can hand out my business cards on the sidewalk anytime for free. So you want to make kind of a U shape, and if you can see from that picture, if you're looking at the slides in the top left-hand corner, I have tables on both sides, and then I have chairs in the back where they can sit down and they can fill out their stress survey. I have things like props that catch people's eye. So you can see, you know, we have a screen or a computer screen or a big screen TV set up usually. The X-ray view box, I bring an X-ray view box and plug it in, and I use a before and after X-ray up there. Not because I want to, you know, not because I think these people know what a before and X-ray, you know, is walking by, and sometimes I use it for educational purposes, but it's so eye-catching. An X-ray, for someone who doesn't know what an X-ray is, when they're walking by, they're just checking that thing out, man. It draws them into your booth. So using an X-ray view box, just having some X-rays up there can be a great thing to pull people in. A TV, a projector, or even, you know, colorful posters, which I'm going to talk about next. with my posters, I have two different kinds of posters that I use in my spinal screening. One is eye-catching posters, right? I want those to be up in the front. And the other one might be an educational poster, and that's going to be in the back that I use for my spinal screening to educate people. Or sometimes instead of the poster, so I don't have to carry things around for education, I'll use those flyers that you get, those Parker handouts and flyers. Now, one of the things I've noticed, I'll give you, this is a jewel. This tip right here will add 10 to 20 new patients on to every spinal screening that you do. And you know what? Here's what I discovered this tip. There was a lot of people walking by my booth. Imagine that, right? When I started doing spinal screenings, there were hundreds of people walking by my booth, and I would say, have you ever had your spine checked? Have you ever had a spinal screening? When was the last time you had a posture analysis? And I would ask these questions, and I would get these answers like, all of you, if you've done a spinal screening before, you're going to be like, yep. I would get this answer like, oh, my spine is terrible. And they'd be like, thanks anyways, and then walk by. Or, oh, you don't want to see my spine. It's horrible, right? I got a terrible spine. I've had this, thanks, but no thanks. And then they would leave, and I would sit there going, oh my gosh, like these are the people that need to be in my booth getting a spinal screening. But I started thinking deeper about that. And I realized that there's only two reasons why someone won't stop in my booth. Number one is they don't think they need it. They don't think they need my services. And you know what? I can't fight with anyone. I can't talk anybody into a service that they don't think that they need, right? Number two, though, is they know they need something, but they don't think I am the one that's going to be able to help them. So they don't even think if I stopped, and if they stopped and got a screening, they don't even believe that I could help them. And that's the problem. Those are the people that I want. So how, just in general in marketing and companies all across the country, how do they portray, how do they show people that they can help them? The answer is through testimonials. And so what I did was I created big posters with my patient's picture on it and their testimonial. And I would put the poster up in the front of the spinal screening so that when people walking by, they could read that patient's testimonial. Now, and then I took it a step further, which works even better. I actually got my patients who have had great results to help me in my spinal screening. And so I call these patients my sneezers, all right? So every one of you probably have these sneezers in your office. Sneezers are the ones that they love you so much and you've had such great results in your office that they just want to sneeze and tell everybody about you. So what you do is you ask these sneezers if they will help you spread the word of chiropractic through the weekend event that you have going on, like a big health fair, a big home show or something. And most of the time they're just excited that you asked them. But here's the thing too, is most of the time it doesn't cost me any money out of pocket. I offer to pay them cash for their time, but then I also say, you know what, I'll give you a month's free care in my office, or 2 months, or however long it is, free care in my office if you'll help me spread the word of chiropractic to our community this weekend. And, they don't have to work all day, but if they show up and they work, they bring so much enthusiasm to your booth, and they tell so many people about your story that I have people coming in my booth, and they don't even want to get screened. They just want to know where to sign up. Like, how do I sign up for this? Where do I sign? I need an exam. This guy's telling me an amazing story. And so use those sneezers. Try that. If you have a big screening, I don't take them to Vitamin Shop with me for a little business screening, right? But if you have a big screening at a big event, try that and see, just the amazing results that it brings. And so what I use is this spinal screening poster. And on this poster in the front of my booth, it says, big letters, free spinal screening, right? And the reason I use this, I designed this poster, and the reason why I use it is because I want people to know what I'm doing there without me having to tell them, right? So I don't want anybody walking by my booth questioning what the heck it is I'm doing there. So they see the sign that says free spinal screening, and it does a couple of things. One of the things, hopefully that big red stop sign right there gets their attention, grabs their eye, and it tells them, get your spine checked. That's what we're doing in our office. That's what we're doing in our booth. Now, if they look closer at this sign, they also see a bunch of different symptoms. And I'll be the first to tell you I'm not all about symptoms, but the symptom is their ticket to the show, right? Their symptom is their motivation. So I have all these symptoms on there, and it connects with them. And they're looking at that like, headaches? Dang, I got a headache right now, right? So it connects with them. They want what I have in the booth, and I think this poster really helps me to touch a few more lives, right? So I recommend that poster at the front of your booth. It comes in my my spinal screening kit that we have. And so the biggest question, one of the biggest questions I get, and probably on your mind right now also, is where do I set up, right? Where do I find these spinal screenings? How do I get in? And so the answer is this. Look, I pretty much say there's two different types of spinal screenings. I do two different types. One I do in a local business setting, like that would be going to your health food store, your grocery store, your going to Walmart, going to Costco, and doing these spinal screenings. And that's a local business, and those are great. Those can be worth your time, but the great thing about those is you can set them up to be continual, to be, like an every other month screening at Walmart. You can set that up, and I'll show you how to set that up. You can have I used to have a once a week screening at a health food store, and now we do more like once a quarter or once a month. But that's the repetitive at the gym. You can do it once a week or an every other week, screening at the gym. And when you're that consistent with it, you really get to know the community. People in the gym get to know you. They start calling you by name, and that can really build rapport with your community. The biggest thing, and for most of you on here right now, is you need to start doing spinal screenings at these big events. Okay? Events are where it is. Events will grow your practice like nothing you've ever seen. My record of the most I've ever scheduled at a weekend screening was at a big event, and we scheduled 72 new patients at one screening. And doing these big events, I show people how to make. You can make more than $100,000 this year just by doing like 4 big event spinal screenings. That's all you have to do. And I showed you the numbers. I have videos where I show you the numbers on that. It depends on how big you can do those screenings. If you're getting 72 new patients, you only need like 1 or 2 big screenings to make that kind of money. And again, remember, I'm talking business mind, money. It's not about money. It's about touching patients' lives. But how many patients' lives can you touch when you're bringing in that many new patients into your office and touching their lives with chiropractic? That's what it's all about. So what kind of events? Well, basically anything that there's going to be a lot of people at. I say health fairs, county fairs, business fairs, home shows, boat shows, bridal shows, arts and crafts shows, and all of those shows and here's the thing with the events, it's easy to get in because all you have to do is find the event, and most of the time you just buy the booth, right? Now, obviously, you want to get on this and start looking for events right now because some events, especially like some of the big events that I'm in around Houston, that they're exclusive. Once they get 1 or 2 chiropractors in that big event, they'll shut that down. So you need to make sure that you're constantly looking for those big events. And how do you do that? Well, I use Google. Google is one of the tools that hopefully you've heard about. If you were able to get on this webinar tonight, you've probably heard of Google because you're that internet savvy to know what Google is. All you do is go to google.com. You type in something like health fair and your zip code, right? County fair, your zip code. Business fair, your zip code. Home show, your zip code. You just keep typing these in, and every time you type anything in, your Google is going to give you like 50 pages of stuff. So you're going to go through each of the pages, and you're going to look for events that are going to be in your area. Now, when it comes to big events, guys, let me give you a huge tip here. Okay, just go straight to the source because there's not a lot of places, or I call it venues, right? There's not a lot of big venues that can hold thousands of people in your community. There's only a couple. So you go right to that venue. Go to like a civic center. And so in my area, we have a big civic center, and I'm just always knowing what's going on there. I'm constantly calling them, checking their Facebook, their Twitter, following them, checking their website to see what their schedule is. So know the schedule of all those big venues around your office, and that way when you see an event that pops up that you could have a booth at or a spinal screening at, then you just sign up and you can be right there. Another thing that we've done before it works pretty well, it'll get you in some more screenings, is to contact all the churches in your area and find out if they have an annual health fair. Now, I know you're like, church has an annual health fair, but you'd be surprised. There are some churches, especially the big churches, that do have an annual health fair. And even the ones that don't, you can offer to help them set that up because it's a great way for churches to reach out into their community and can get you in the door there. So you can check those things out as well. Now for the local businesses, I have a script for you, and I call it an outline, not a script. But some people are like, well, how do I contact this business? How do I get in? You know, and so I have a little script for you. When you contact them on the phone, you can contact them in person, or you can contact them on the phone. Now, I found that contacting them in person does work a little bit better, has a little bit higher success rate. But it depends on how much time you have. You know, a lot of chiropractors don't have time to go to 20 different businesses to go walk in the door and try to set up spinal screening. So what you do is you'll write down the name of that business and their phone number, and you'll make a big list of about 10 to 20 businesses, and you'll just sit down and you'll call each one of them. And you'll use this outline right here. Number one, you pay them a compliment. Number two, you tell them how you can help them. And then number three, you tell them how it helps you, because, you know, they're not dumb. They know that you're not, even though you might donate the exam fee to a charity or something, they know you're not doing this just for community service. They know that these screenings do benefit you personally in some way, form, or fashion. So what it might sound like was, you know, let's say I call the health food store and I say, hey, Jenny, let's say Jenny answers the phone. She's like, this is Jenny, blah, 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 health food store. So I say, hi, Jenny, this is Dr. Tabor with Pure Life Family Wellness, and a lot of my patients are coming in from your store. They use your product, and they paid a lot of compliments to you guys, and I just want to tell you that obviously you're doing a great job. You got great service and great products there. So I break the ice a little bit and realize it's an outline. You know, that's not my script. It might sound a little bit different every time I say it, but it breaks the ice. And then I say, and Jenny, I don't know if it's you I need to talk to, but what I'd like to do is volunteer my time to set up free spinal screening in your area. We check spines in the community as a community service, and we do that for absolute free for your customers. We just come in on a weekend and set up for an hour or two and just give people spinal screenings and let them know how their spinal health is, you know, or something like that. And then as soon as I say that, I'll say, and that really helps me out. It helps me get my name out in the community, and we're able to do something great for our, you know, our town or our city. So that's an example of what I would say on the phone. I didn't do a very good job there. Hopefully it would come out a little bit better. But you get the idea. That's the outline. Now, so the best types of businesses, like I said, health food stores, you know, coffee shops, smoothies, those are already kind of health-minded there. But Walmart, Target, Kroger's, H-E-B, you know, if you're trying to get in Walmart, don't even waste your time walking up to the manager. I mean, you can, you know, try to get in something like that, and if they shut you out. But here's the way we did it. We didn't go straight through the manager. We went through a side door. So, you know, the businesses that are up in the front of Walmart, they usually have like a eye center, hair, you know, stylist, nail salon. Well, one of ours had an insurance company. We were able to set up, you know, backpack checks for kids every beginning of every school year there at that insurance company inside Walmart. So it gave us access to Walmart people without having to go through Walmart, right? So you might try little things like that. But a lot of times those stores do have like employee health days and things like that. So you need to be in contact with them. So number one way you get in, though, guys, is build relationships with these stores. So I have a great relationship with a health food store in our area. In fact, I know all the guys that work there. They know me by name when I come in, and we just have a great relationship. I shop there. Imagine that. I shop there, and I say, you know, you guys got any flyers or coupons I can give my patients, and we work together, and we build relationships. But also, I always tell people, so many times chiropractors are scared to ask. Man, that's the number one thing. You need to be asking these businesses. Find out what businesses that you want to be in, and then ask them, you know, every other month. Call them, even if they keep shutting you down. And as a chiropractor, the longer you become a chiropractor, the tougher your skin gets, hopefully. And so don't be scared to hear a no. Be persistent, and these things will pay off, and you'll have success. And so what I call this is my 23% rule, right? Because one time I sat down, I had 17 different businesses to call, and I scheduled 4 screenings out of 17. That means I heard 13 no's, right, to get to 4 yeses. That's a 23% success rate. So really, you know, you can expect about 2 out of every 10 people you call to give you a yes. But you're going to hear a lot of no's. Just know that, okay? So So the next thing I want to tell you guys about is what screening technology, what screening technique do you use, what tools? Well, here is something really cool that we use a lot now, and it's called the Posture Screen Mobile. A lot of you have probably heard of this. Joe Ferrantelli put it out. It's an app for your iPhone, your iPad. We use iPads at our screenings, and we use this Posture Screen Mobile to check posture. Now, this is what's really cool with Genesis. For those of you who have Genesis Chiropractic software as your EHR, you know, if you don't, Genesis is, it's top of the line, one of the best chiropractic EHRs out there. And now they are completely integrated. They work very closely with CBP and spinal correction, and they are integrated now with Posture Screen Mobile. So you can actually, at your screening, if someone signs up for an exam, you can automatically push button transmit those posture exams straight into your EHR. It'll create an entire file for that patient and put their pictures right into your software without you having to do anything except for pressing one button. So it's really cool. I always tell everybody, you know what? Use what works best for you. I've used a ton of different technologies, a ton of different methods, you know, from anything from surface EMG, posture analysis, Sam's machine, chair massage, blood pressure checks. The thing is, look, we're looking, at least when I do screenings, I'm looking for evidence of subluxation. If they have evidence that they have a problem in their health that I can help with, like correcting subluxation, which is what I do in my office, then I have to recommend that they get a further exam so that I can find out the extent of that problem and how much I can help, right? Now, if you want to tell me that your blood pressure check, you know, is evidence of subluxation, you know what? It might very well be, because people who are subluxated have high blood pressure. So, you know what? If it's something, you're looking for some evidence of something that you correct in your office. That's what a screening is, and that's what we do at our spinal screenings. We check the spine, and I use Posture Screen Mobile because if they have abnormal posture is the window of the spine, more than likely they have subluxation in their spine, and they need to be in my office, and I have to recommend an exam for them so that I can tell them what their problems are, what's causing their problem. But use what works best for you. The methods that I teach in my spinal screening program are what we use, and the technology is important, don't get me wrong. But if you really want to touch more lives and get more lives into your office, it's those procedures that we use step by step. And these are the procedures right here. There's 3 steps to every spinal screening. Okay, guys? Number 1, you have to stop the person, obviously. Number 2, you have to screen the person. And number three is if you really want to help them, now don't get me wrong, just doing a spinal screening is a huge value for your community. It's a huge value for the people who are there in your booth. But if you truly, you know, find a problem and you really want to change this person's life, how are we really going to change their life if we don't get them in our office? You know what I mean? So our procedures have to be so good that we get more people into our office so that we can really help them and really change their life. So going through a spinal screening step by step, if you just remember these 3 stages and then train for each one of these stages, your spinal screenings will go so much smoother, and you'll have so much more effect in helping more people. So stopping them, that's your greeter's job, right? We talked about greeters a little bit. And the biggest mistake that chiropractors make when they stop a person is probably the biggest reason chiropractors hate doing spinal screening is because people don't listen. They just keep walking by, or they're not interested, right? And here's the thing is we're asking, most of the time chiropractors are asking them a yes or no question, like, would you like a spinal screening today, right? And we're so ingrained as a society, we have a social reflex to just say no thank you and keep going. And how many of you have had that happen to you 100 or 1,000 times in one day where you're like, would you like a free spinal screening? And no, thank you. And they just keep going, and they do it over and over and over. Of course, you're going to get tired of doing spinal screenings that way. So instead of asking them a yes or no question, we switch that and change that to a question that's going to cause them to not have a yes or no reflex, but have a reflex that causes them to reach into their memory centers, like temporal lobe, right? Temporal lobe, and reach into those memory centers and grab some information. So what I would say, instead of, would you like a free spinal screening today, which is I'm assuming they even know what that is I would say, you know, when was the last time you had your spine checked, sir, right? Or have you ever had a posture analysis? And so what you're going to find that they do is they stop and engage a little bit more, and you might even see that their eyes go up to the right or up to the left. That's what you do when you're looking for an answer, you know, especially you're trying to access the temporal lobes. And then most of the time, I mean, seriously, you start paying attention to this, 75% of the time that person is going to come back with, what is that? Right? They're not even going to answer your question. They're going to say, I don't know, what is that? And that's where we got them, because you just engaged them. They didn't just keep walking and say, no, thank you. You've engaged them and say, I don't know, what is that? And that's where we teach our greeters to say this simple phrase. When they ask what it is, all they do is they say it's a quick analysis that helps us determine the health of your spine. It takes 2 minutes and it's free, and they motion to come into our booth. So what we just did with that is we answered all of their questions, which was how long does it take, what is it, how long does it take, how much does it cost, right? We answered it like that. It's a quick analysis that helps us determine the health of your spine. It takes 2 minutes and it's free, and motion into our booth, right? And that's all they have to say. And that will increase it by at least 50% if you're doing it right. That will increase the amount of people that you get into your booth so that you can screen them. And then you move to stage 2, which is actually screen them. And the biggest thing that chiropractors make a mistake here is they don't tie the symptom into what they find on the screening, right? So this person comes in, they've got, let's say their symptom is, I don't know, it could be anything from neck pain shooting down their arm, or it might even be heart palpitations. Whatever their symptom is that they're most concerned with, they come in there and you do a check and you're like, yeah, you have a high left shoulder and a head forward posture. So I'm going to refer you for an exam in my office. And you didn't connect that to their symptom at all. So the person's like, I don't care if I have a high right shoulder or a forward head posture, and then they leave, right? So what you do is this, that you come in and you're like, okay, John, because on your stress survey it has their name, their symptom, and so you know their name, you know what their symptom is. You say, hey, John, I see you're having neck pain and headaches. Man, how long have you had those? And John says, I've had them for like 3 days now, right? And then here's your answer every time. It's like, really? Wow, well, I'm going to be very interested in finding out what we see on your screening. And you just totally tied in their symptom with your screening, and in their head they're thinking, hey, this guy's looking for something that's causing my problem, right? So you've totally just drawn them in. Then if you do your posture analysis, you say, look, you have a high right shoulder. That means you have a cyst in your spine at that area that's putting pressure right on the nerves that cause headaches and run down your arm and cause pain in your hand. I have to recommend a further exam in my office. We're doing a great deal today. We know this discount, blah, blah, blah. Is this something that you're interested in, right? So then this person's like, dude, this guy just found evidence of what's causing my pain and my problem. Of course I'm going to go get an exam in his office because he might be able to help me, right? You're building that desire. And then you sign them. That's the easiest part. But you have your CA or whoever it is, has the schedule. You'll schedule them and collect payment, right? Especially if you're at a big event. You've got to collect payment or you're going to have so many people no-show that's not even funny. And so we usually collect $20 for our exam. If you want to donate it to a charity, you can. But we've done upwards of $40 for the exam. But it brings them, it's a kind of an anchor. So they're more likely to show up. They'll still have a couple people that probably won't show up and you'll keep their $20 for some reason, but you've got to collect money there. Or if you're at a mom and pop store like a health food store and you don't want to collect money there because you don't want to look like you're taking money away from that business, you get a double serious yes. Okay, that's very important when you teach your financial person to do that. And here's what it sounds like. You say, okay, Jenny, I have you scheduled at 5 o'clock on Monday. Are you sure you can make that? And you look right at her, and Jenny says, yes. That's her first yes. The second one is you stop, you put down the clipboard, you look her in the eye again, and you go, Jenny, that's a very, very valuable time in my office. Are you absolutely positive you can be there at that time? I have to make sure you don't miss that appointment. And Jenny's going to be like, oh, let me check my schedule, right? And you're like, yeah, that would have been nice for you to do that in the first place. Thanks, Jenny. But that happens all the time. So you get a double, very serious yes, so then make sure that that's a time they can make. All right, so a couple more tips here. This one is great. We use biofreeze samples. Now, especially at these events, people are going booth to booth grabbing stuff that's free, right? So this is a great way to give away some free stuff. BioFreeze, if you go to events.biofreeze.com, BioFreeze will actually send you free samples for you to give away at your spinal screening. And the cool thing is they'll actually stamp your clinic name and phone number on the sample, right? So it's personalized samples that you can give away at your booth. And you know what? I know that BioFreeze is not a cure-all for everything, but if it gets some more people into my booth so I can help them and touch their lives with chiropractic, then that is helping me out, and I appreciate that. And then, you know what, collecting leads. Here's a big, a way to collect leads. We always put their email, they're going to put their email on the stress survey. That's one way. And you can plug those emails into your email sequence that you do for your office or something. But here's one way. I mean, seriously, to double leads, get tons of leads, and then increase your number of new patients significantly is by doing dinner workshops, okay? And you tie that in with your spinal screenings by doing this. We get so at every big spinal screening that I do, I'm going to have a lead box out front, in the front of the spinal screening, so that people can walk by and sign up to win a free dinner, right? So when you're at these events, a lot of people don't even come into your booth, but they are going booth to booth signing up to win all this stuff, right? Well, they'll sign up to win a free dinner in your office, and then you can set that up. You can have a dinner workshop that week, and so half the people that didn't, sign up for an exam at your spinal screening will come to your dinner workshop, and then you can sign them up there. So what I normally do, if I'm going to have a big spinal screening, like say Saturday and Sunday, I will do a lead box, and then we'll get 60, 70 leads for that free dinner. And you know what? You can give away a $50 gift card to one of them that you draw or whatever, but it's your drawing, so you can have as many winners as you want. And I let everybody be a winner, and I'm calling every one of them back on Monday, telling them, congratulations, you are one of our winners, and we have a dinner this Thursday night, and mine is, stress, how to live a long, healthy life. All I need to know is how many seats to reserve for you, and we do ours at Texas Land and Cattle, so it's a steakhouse. And you're going to hear a lot of no's again, right? There's a lot of people who are going to say, no, I don't want to. But you're going to get 10, 20 people, maybe even 30 people from that who do come to your dinner. And dinners are great. There's a huge success rate for your dinners. So if you have a spinal screening on Saturday and Sunday and you set your dinner workshop up for Thursday night, that works out about perfect. And then imagine that. Imagine 20, 30 new patients over the weekend. And then here comes Thursday night, and you just sign up another 10, 20 new patients or more from your dinner. So the next week is packed. And then you're working your butt off for these 2 or 3 weeks just processing new patients, and your business goes like crazy. It skyrockets through the roof. And how awesome is that, right? And then as soon as you get done with that crazy wave of working, then you take your family off to a short vacation for the weekend, right? And you tell them, thanks for staying with me through that, because it is. I mean, it's you put your head down, you go to work, and you process that many new patients, but it grows your practice like crazy, and it touches lives like crazy, and that's what we do. And the most important thing that we do, guys, out of all this, is we have the right mindset. Okay, it's very important because at your spinal screening, your words are simply thoughts taking form. So, like I said before, if it's all about getting new patients for you, if it's only about the money, then you might as well not even do it because it's not going to work. I promise you that. And so the old mindset was, I don't like doing spinal screenings, or medical doctors don't do spinal screenings, right? Your new mindset is this, okay? At every spinal screening that you do, I want you to go there thinking, I'm just here to help that one person who is looking for me. That's why I'm here. I'm here because there's one person out there who is looking for me, they can't find me, and they were going to be here. And that's why I'm here. And that one person turns into 10 people. It turns into 20 people at every screening that you do. But you constantly focus on, I'm here to help that one person who's looking. And I want to share this with you guys. This is who is looking for you right now. This is why you need to be the one to do spinal screenings in your community. Sandy was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was only 8 years old. She had scarlet fever when she was young, and the medical doctor told her that's what killed her pancreas or burnt up her pancreas, whatever. She was told she could never have children because the health condition that she was in. She wouldn't accept that. She might not have had a pancreas, but she had a heart of gold, and she wouldn't accept that fact. In fact, she lost her first baby. Her first baby died. It was only 3 days old. Her second attempt was a stillborn and died. The third and fourth attempt were successful, and she had 2 little boys that she loved with all of her heart. but her health continued to get worse. She was in and out of hospitals her whole life. She was in medical doctor's offices, taking drug after drug, having surgery after surgery, so sick all the time. She missed out on half of her kids' activities growing up. She was taking 27 prescription medications. 27 prescription medications she was on. In her 30s, she was young. In her 30s, she had renal failure. Her kidneys shut down. She had to go on dialysis. She would drive 30 miles 4 days a week to a dialysis clinic to get all of her blood in her body pumped out through a machine that cleaned it and pumped back into her body. She continued to have these problems with diabetes, and she developed neuropathies in her legs. Her nerves in her feet completely died. She developed what they call Charcot joint disease, and Charcot joint sounds like chalk, right? You're basically your feet and the bones in your legs turn to chalk, and you don't have any feeling in your legs at all because the nerves are dead. So she would break her ankle and not feel it and walk on her ankle that's broken. She would just be walking on a broken ankle until somebody looked down and said, "Oh my God, what is that? What are you doing?" And so it got so bad that she couldn't even put weight on her feet anymore because they would shatter and break. So in her early 40s, she was confined to a wheelchair. And confined to the wheelchair, she didn't even feel it because you don't feel heart disease. She developed heart disease at the age of 47. She died of a heart attack. She died in her sleep. From birth to death, guys, her spine was never checked. She wasn't screened by a chiropractor, never. Not one time in her entire life. And guys, that is my mom. Sandy was my mom. That's me if you're looking at the computer on the left there. That's why we do spinal screenings. That's when we check the spine. That's that person that is out there that has never had a chance to understand what true health really is. And that's why you are the only one who can help, who can actually check their spine. Because if you don't do it, guys, nobody will. I promise you, their medical doctor is not going to check their spine. They're even an acupuncturist or a massage therapist. They're not going to check the spine. They're not going to do a spinal screening. You're a chiropractor. In fact, when I graduated from chiropractic school, I knew my mom's spine just must have been a wreck. And so I went back to all the hospitals that she had been to. This was in New Mexico. I went back to every one of those hospitals, and I gathered up all of her imaging. I gathered up probably $100,000 worth of imaging. There was CT scans, there was MRIs, there was radiographic studies like nuclear meds. There was all kinds of, there was a stack of it. In fact, if you're looking at the screen, you can see that's the picture. That's my office. Those are all of her imaging that I went through those images one by one on the spine. On the view box, and I was looking for her spine, and going through $100,000 worth of imaging, I didn't find a thing because there was not one picture of my mom's spine. And I guess she just didn't have back pain that was bad enough to elicit them to check the spine. She had x-rays of her ankles, her feet, her knees, she had CT scans of all of her organs. She had a brain scan in that group of imaging, but there was no x-ray of her spine in there because the medical system doesn't check the spine for health. It doesn't check the spine for cause of disease, right? You and I do that. We're chiropractors. We do spinal screening. Spinal screenings fit your philosophy so well. And guys, here's what I imagine. I understand chiropractic might not have made completely cured my mom and let her live to be 100 years old. I understand chiropractic might not have been a magical miracle like that, but imagine if it would have just put 5 years on my mom's life. Just 5 years, she would have seen me graduate from chiropractic school. She would have met my wife and kids. She would have seen her grandson born. And what would have that been worth, right? If you don't think chiropractic can put 5 years on someone's life, then you're not looking at the studies that are out there. Spine, the most prestigious spinal journal, the Journal of the American Geriatric Society, they both show that subluxation basically is what they're saying, but this shift in alignment and this poor posture can take up to 15 years off your life. So of course we could give somebody 5 years. And how much is that worth? A couple hours of your time doing a spinal screening? A couple $1,000 care plan in your office? Absolutely. I'd pay that 1,000,000 times right now to have those years with my mom. And so what you're doing when you do spinal screenings, it's about something bigger than just growing your practice. It's about something bigger than just making some money. Guys, it's about changing people's lives through the power of chiropractic. And screenings, I believe, are the single greatest thing that you as a chiropractor can do, not only for the success of your practice, but for the people in your community and for our chiropractic profession as a whole. And if more of us would start doing more spinal screenings with the right intention and with the right procedures, we could start changing more and more lives, and we could take chiropractic to a level that's never been. And so I put all of these procedures in my spinal screening program, right? And in this spinal screening kit, you get a CD that has all the paperwork, all the flyers, and everything that you need to do a successful spinal screening. Comes with a training DVD. I call it the core training because it's going to take you step by step through those stages of a spinal screening. And in this DVD, you can just give it to your CAs. You can give it to your coworkers and have them study it. It also comes with an audio CD that will show you exactly how I set up this dinner workshop method. And it comes with a CD that's specifically designed to show you how to set up more spinal screenings in your practice. I just want to read these testimonials to you real quick. Bear with me, we're almost done. I recently used Dr. Tabor's screening tools and attracted 30 new practice members into my practice. No sales involved, just simple communication methods that were extremely effective. Thanks, Dr. Tabor. I would recommend this kit to anyone looking to improve their screening skills. And then the second one here, we had our local festival today and was able to schedule 25 new patients using the techniques and scripts from your DVDs, and we were able to have them prepay the $20. I've done screenings in the past, but that was by far my most successful to date. So, guys, I understand, I can't guarantee those results. I can't even say those results are typical. I mean, just legally as a disclaimer. Plus, I don't know you. Right? I don't know your work ethic. I don't know even if you do get the program that you'll implement anything that I tell you to do. But I do know that hundreds, if not thousands, of chiropractors have used this program to attract more people into their community, to get those types of numbers at every spinal screening that they do. And so, with the spinal screening, I had, with this program, I had to come up with a price. And a lot of my mentors were like, you've got to price this at like $1,000. You've got to price it at $2,000. In fact, all the other programs you see out there are like $5,000 or $6,000. It's ridiculous. It may not be just for spinal screening, but those marketing programs for your office. But you know what? I want every chiropractor to be able to afford it, and hopefully you can understand this is not about making money. This is about showing chiropractors how to reach more people. And so I was going to price it at that price, and in fact, on top of the low price that it is right now, I added all these bonuses. You get with my program, you get the spinal screening poster that I use in my office. You actually get the file. You get the PDF file so that you can take it to Kinko's and print out as many posters as you want whenever you want to. And the reason why I do that is because I know how it is to be a spinal screener. My posters get tore up. Right? So about every other month, I gotta go to Kinko's and print out another poster. And I don't want you to have to buy a poster every time your poster gets tore up. So you own that file, and you can take it to Kinko's and print as many as you want. It comes with a dinner workshop kit that shows you live dinner workshops that I give to 40 people and one that I gave to 60 people. And then it also comes with the all-access lifetime spinal hygiene doctor membership site. That's where it shows you how we get into businesses to do spinal safety lectures. And of course, we use that doorway to share spinal wellness and lifetime health. But you get over $1,000 of bonuses, and it's not $1,000. It's not $497. Right now, it's only $297 for the entire program and all of those bonuses. And now you also get instant access to my spinal screening kit because it has an online membership site that has all the training on it. So as soon as you purchase it, it takes you right to that site. You can log in, and you can start training for your staff and yourself for successful spinal screenings. And all you have to do is go to this website. We set this up just for Genesis Chiropractic Software. The website where you can go straight to get this program tonight is spinalscreenings.com/Genesis. Okay, so it's Spinal Screenings, which is plural with the S on the end, .com/Genesis. spinalscreenings.com/GENESIS. Genesis. Spinalscreenings.com/Genesis. Now, I want to tell you, this will only be up for the next 24 hours. Tomorrow night at midnight, I'm actually shutting this program down, so you won't be able to get in. You won't be able to get this kit, and I'm shutting it down for a while. The reason it is because we had so many people who got in this program this week and bought this program that I want to make sure that they are using everything in this program and that they are having success in their spinal screenings before I open it again. And I will open it again, but it won't be at the $297 price. It'll be closer to $500 or $1,000 next time we open it. But for $297 for everybody who sees this, it's an absolutely no-brainer. I mean, I can show you how to make $100,000 this year. And again, results not typical. Of course, I got to say all of that because I don't know if you'll really do what I tell you to do. But I personally have made $100,000 a year for the past several years just on my spinal screenings by touching more lives through the power of chiropractic and through the spinal screening. And $297 for a one-time pay to have lifetime membership access to that is an absolute no-brainer price. And I did that because I want every office in the nation to have this. I truly, truly believe 100% that this is the best spinal screening program, spinal screening training that you will ever find, or at least you will find up to today in chiropractic that's ever been created. And I truly believe that. And there's a 100% money-back guarantee if you don't believe that. If you think this is not the best spinal screening training you've ever received, then all you have to do is let me know, and I will give you your $297 back. So it's not about having your money. That's an investment in your career. That's an investment in your community. And this training is something that you'll have with you for the rest of your life and for the rest of your career. And I just pray that it helps you to touch more people and to touch more lives, because that's what it's all about. So, guys, I really, really appreciate you being on the phone call tonight. And, again, it's only $297 for the program. You go directly to spinalscreenings.com/Genesis, and it will show you exactly what you get, and it'll have a buy now button there. And you just purchase your kit there. You'll get instant access to the Spinal Screening Kit online program. You can start watching the videos right away. You'll have all your bonuses there as well. And then I'll also mail you the physical DVD, CD, and CD-ROM product as well. So you'll have the physical product. You'll also have it all online for instant access. And for right now until tomorrow at midnight is when I shut it down, and you can get it for only $297. So, again, guys, go to spinalscreenings.com/Genesis. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Thanks for being on the call, and I will talk to you all soon.